Hello, fifth graders. How are you doing today? My name's Mr. Carlisle, and I am going to flip the classroom. Yes. What does flipping the classroom look like? Well, you just turn the classroom upside down, if you can see that board over there. Hey, when we flip the classroom, you will be taking notes during the lesson. So sometimes you'll have to pause and take notes in your composition book. Let's just get rocking and rolling and so you'll understand what to do. All right, most of the time the videos don't last more than 10 minutes. Okay, so flipping the classroom. First I need my stylus. Here you go. So whenever you see that red star, that means take notes. It might be you have to take a definition. It might be that you would have to do a problem. But you have to record these notes in a composition book, and then the next day I'm going to look at your notes, and you'll get a grade. It's an easy grade. It's 100. All you got to do is do it. Okay, so rolling along. So are you ready to flip the classroom? Give me a drum roll, please. All right, so the first thing you need to write down is what are decimals? We're going to talk about decimals in this lesson. What really are decimals? What do you think? Pause. Think about that. What are decimals? What are they? For example, that's a decimal. That's a decimal. So, what are they? If you were thinking that decimals are just parts of a whole, you are correct. Decimals are parts of a whole. Both those decimals that I've written down are on this number line. But where? On the number line. Well, hopefully you understand they're parts of a whole, right? They're parts of a whole, so they would be found right here, between 0 and 1, because they're part of a whole. Okay? So, decimals, parts of a whole. Decimals can be written or expressed in several different ways. So write this down. Okay, press pause if you need to, but decimals can be written in several different ways. Number one, decimals can be expressed in standard form. 0.6, 0.6. You can just say it like that, 0.6. That's a part of a whole. Or you can write the decimal as word form. That is really 6/10. The tenths, or the 6, is in the tenths place. See that number line over where? Hello, there you go. See that up there? Whoa, I'm not very good at filming. I'm missing it. That place next to the decimal is called the tenths, and the next one is called the hundredths, and then the next one is called the... Filming is very bad. We got to talk to our director. Anyway, decimals are parts of a whole. You can write it in standard form, which just means numbers. You can write it in word form, 6/10. You can even write it as a fraction. 6/10 means 6/10. So these are 3 different ways you can express a decimal. So here's what I'd like for you guys to do is make this chart where you write on the top decimal, fraction, word form, and then complete. For example, I'll do the first one with you. We have 3/10, so as a fraction we would write 3/10, and then word form we would write 3/10. So press pause and complete. This is something I'll be looking for, so just press pause and complete, please. Are you ready? Did you press pause? You ready to rock and roll? Let's move forward. Okay. So we said decimals are parts of a whole. They are found between 0 and 1. So if you see this number line from 0 to 8, and I have this number, 58 hundredths. Sometimes 5th graders want to look here, right? 5 and 6, but this is 58 out of 100. This, if I write it as a fraction, is 58 out of 100. Out of 100. What's a half out of 100? 50, right. So right here is your half mark, right? Which I blew this up, it's down here. So right here would be your half, which would be 50 out of 100. So where would 58 out of 100 be on the number line? Probably maybe right about here, 58 out of 100. This would be 58 as a bad 58 out of 100. Let's do this again. 2, 2, 2. 50 out of 100. Okay? So, how about you guys think about this one? What about 9/10? Where would that go? Put your finger where you think that would go on the number line. Okay? 9/10. Did you put it right about here? 9/10 would be here. Why? Because this is 9 out of 10. Or that equals 90 out of 100. Right here is 5 out of 10. So right here would be 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10 is a whole. Yes, it is. It's a whole. We know that, Mr. Harlow. Okay, I don't know. Some of you guys might not know that. Okay. So if 10 out of 10 is a whole, 9 out of 10 is close to a whole, right? Got it. So anyway, you didn't really have to, I wanted you to practice this, but you didn't really have to take much notes on this part. Question. Does 80 hundredths equal 8/10? This is 80 out of 100. This is 8 out of 10. Do they equal each other? The question is, are they the same part of a whole? And the answer is, yes, they are. This is a whole box that is divided into 100 small squares. See, you've got, you've got 10 this way by 10 this way. Hello. I want you to write down. Okay. By 10 this way. So 10 times 10 is 100. So there's 100 here. And you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8. And there's 10 in each row, so that's 80. So there's 80 out of 100 there. Over here, this is just divided into 10 parts, and there's 8 shaded. So 8 out of 10 is the same thing as 80 out of 100. It's the same part of a whole. It's the same part of a whole. But what about this question? Is 8 out of 100 the same part of a whole as 8 out of 10? Is that the same part of a whole? And when you look at a grid like this, your answer should be no. Because over here is 8 out of 100. Think about a quiz. If you took a quiz and you got 8 out of 100 right, how would you feel? Not very good. But if you took a test and you got, if you took a test and you got 8 out of 10, I said that kind of backwards. If you took a quiz and got maybe 8 out of 10 right, you'd feel good. If you took a test and got 8 out of 100 right, you would feel bad. It's definitely not the same part of a whole. So here's 8 out of 10, that's more than half. 8 out of 100, that's less than half. So they don't equal. So the last thing I want you to do, and then you could turn this video tutorial off. See, we're at 8 minutes and 33 seconds. That wasn't very long. This is called a Math Wizard question. It's a very difficult question that maybe, I would say 10 out of 50 will get it right? Maybe. Will you be that person? So the question is this. Can you give me a decimal that's found in between, let's just say right here. Can you give me a decimal in between 3/10 and 4/10? Give me a decimal, any decimal that's in between 3/10 and 4/10. That was your first video tutorial of the year. Now, see you tomorrow. All right, bye-bye.